Natalie. Well, Milwaukee and state leaders are at odds over how to fund renovations at American Family Field and keep the Brewers in Wisconsin. CBS 58 Capitol correspondent Emily Fannin and WisPolitics editor J.R. Ross breaks it down for us in this week's Capitol Connection.
We finally have the details of the massive package that would fund renovations at American Family Field to keep the Milwaukee Brewers at that stadium until 2050, the next 27 years. Now, the $700 million package breaks down like this. There would be a $411 million contribution from the state, $202.5 million from Milwaukee County and the city, and $100 million would be contributed from the Brewers. Now, the sweeping proposal was proposed by two Republicans in AmFam Field. We also heard from Assembly Speaker Robin Vos as well, and they touted this as, hey, if we can get this done, it's cheaper to keep them, which is a very similar term, JR, that we heard when they crafted the Bucks Arena deal to build that arena. Now, there wasn't, I guess everyone was really a fan of this package, and a lot of the criticism primarily came from Milwaukee Democrats and Milwaukee leaders because of how much, if you look at the whole package, about a third of the funding has to come from the city and county. And talking to Mayor Johnson, he really just talked about, well, we just reached this deal to increase shared revenue, and we would hate to take some of that funding away to fund this. He also has an issue with the bill of how it would craft a new stadium district board. They would no longer have representation on that. And so going forward, is this the end-all, be-all deal? Very unlikely. But, kind of the challenges ahead is getting Democrats in support of this, because we know ultimately even the governor has to sign off on the deal.
We'll look at the local contribution piece first. One, earlier versions of this package had it more around $135 million for the city and the county. But for Republicans who negotiated this deal or put it together, they felt like they weren't really kind of engaging or giving them ideas of what to do. So this 202.5 is kind of like a leverage tactic. Like, look, this is what it could be. So if you don't want to do this, what's your alternative? So we might get back to $135 million, which is still a good chunk of change. The question is, how do locals fund it? Republicans tell me that the more the city and county do up front, or the earlier they contribute, the smaller the contribution could be. Okay, well, let's say they want to bond for that money. Right now, the credit ratings are not great for the city or the county, and two, interest rates are pretty high. That's not a great option. Could you go to the state, for example, and get a very low interest rate loan that would make it more palatable? Maybe. Oh, no, by the way, if the city and county say we can't do a whole lot up front, they would actually want more money because you're not contributing early on. So there's a challenge there. Then the Brewers component. So $100 million is a lot of money, but the Brewers aren't talking about a ticket tax, which helped make the Bucks Arena work. They're also talking about maintaining an arena, not building an arena. Back 8 years ago, Democrats outstate from La Crosse in southern Wisconsin, they got on board because union guys were saying, hey, this is creating jobs in southeastern Wisconsin. You need to get on board and help us do this. Maintaining jobs already there isn't as big of a sell. So for Democrats, you have to find a way to make Milwaukee hurt less, at the very least, to get this done. And I'm not sure they're there yet. We have a timeline of mid-November. They're going to adjourn for the year and come back in the spring. If they want to get done this fall, they got some work to do.
And that was just part of Emily and JR's conversation this week. You can catch up on all the headlines from Madison. Head to our website, cbs58.com, and click on Capitol Connection.